All right, this is the start of the Inspired By series. So today I want to go through a sound that I keep hearing on Upbeats tunes, and I wanted to make something similar. So inspired by the Upbeats. So here's a quick listen to some example sounds. So we're going to try and make a bass like that. So to me, that sounds like a bandpass, FM-y kind of thing. Let's get going. All right, so we're in Ableton, and here's what I've got. So I reckon that sounds pretty much like the Upbeats. Let's check out the sound. So I'm using Serum, and we've got a few effects on the end. So these effects are just to brighten things up and to add a little more saturation. I'll turn them off one by one so you can have a listen to what they do to the sound. So it's not a huge effect, it's just a little bit of sweetening. All right, let's jump into Serum. Now, this patch is largely controlled by this one LFO. So if I bypass the LFO, you get a very static sound. So the LFO is really what brings this thing to life. Let's activate the destinations again. And you see it's just a very straightforward triangle shape with a little bend to it from when I was mucking around. I've also put the LFO into trigger mode, so it starts from 0 every time that the note is hit, and it's on half a bar in length. Now, for the sound itself, I'll switch off all of the effects for now, and we'll start from just the sub oscillator. So the sub oscillator is just doing a square sine. They're not very interesting. Let's add oscillator A, and it's doing a triangle. So the combination of that still isn't very interesting. It's where we introduce oscillator B that the sound starts to come alive. We've got the level turned all the way down and the rand positions all the way down on both the oscillators. That just makes sure that our FM is more consistent because we're using FM as the warp mode on oscillator A. We've got LFO1 controlling the FM amount. So we're starting to get some of that growly sound through the FM of oscillator A by oscillator B. When we move on to the filter, you can see we're using a multi-filter, so a band notch 12. And we've got the cutoff of the bandpass rising, and we've got the cutoff of the notch decreasing. So it gives us a bit of filter movement towards and away from each other. We've only got the oscillator A coming through to the filter, and here's what it sounds like. You can see the LFO is controlling both the A warp amount and the filter cutoff of the bandpass and the filter cutoff of the notch. All right, so that's it for the main page. It's a pretty simple sound to start with. Let's head over to the effects, and we've got a distortion on diode 1 with a bit of pre-filtering before the distortion. Here's what that sounds like at full mix. We can move this filter frequency around to get slightly different articulations. For the moment, I really want to accentuate those low harmonics. So we've got it down nice and low. And you can see the Q is up a little bit. Or you could increase the drive to get a more pronounced effect. And in my copy of this sound, I like to bring the mix down a little bit. You can see I've got an OTT compressor. That really crisps up the top end. And we've got a reverb. So the reverb's nice and short, and it's only blended in just a little bit. And then to take off some of those too crispy highs, we've got another filter just on a low pass 12 dB. And you see that the filter cutoff is also mapped to the LFO1. So on the FX page, LFO1 is controlling the filter frequency of the pre-distortion filter. It's controlling the cutoff of the secondary filter, and that's it. That gives us a fair bit of movement in this effects section as well. So that's the sound altogether. It's controlled by one LFO, and its basics of it are just an FM triangle into distortion with a bandpass filter before the distortion. So then these extra effects on the end are just there to tidy up the sound and to give it a little more beef. Here it is with and without. All right, and then let's have it with the drums.